here from Retiring Disgracefully. You wouldn't know it by looking at it, but it's only about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but it's getting very dark out there and there's some pretty bad thunderstorms. I think only 3 days ago I said that that the rains had gone. I looked at the weather forecast and it said bright sunny days for the next 9 days or 10 days. That was 3 days ago, but you can't trust the weather forecasters. It's not their fault, I suppose. Global warming and all this sort of thing. I suppose Greta would agree with me there. There's not a lot I can do for videoing on a tropical island with this type of weather. So, myself comfortable here. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to go through with you, in my personal opinion, the 10 best places to live or retire in Thailand. Now then, this is my personal choice. Everyone's different. You know what I like, because I love coastal towns. I couldn't live in a rural area, for instance. But I'm going to show you all the areas that are good. Might not suit me, some of them, but they might suit you. Now what this is more or less a preview, I suppose, of what I'm going to be doing once Thailand reopens. Thailand did reopen on the 1st November for fully vaccinated people who, from I think 60 odd countries it went up to. After it started off at 46 and then it went up to over 60 countries they've approved now. So if you come from one of them countries and you have vaccination, then you can come into Thailand without having to quarantine. I've said that in other videos. I did intend to do my trip. Now Thailand opened up November 1st. I thought, okay, well, my lease expires here in 4 weeks. I'm going to go and do this big trip around Thailand that I keep promising. But only a few days ago, the Prime Minister squashed my plans. He said that Thailand is open, but it's not open fully. You can't go to a bar, you can't go to a nightclub, you can't go to many places that I thought we would be able to. That's all been put on hold until mid-January. So in mid-January, if the government stick to their plans and open everything up again, that is when I'll be going and doing my big trip around Thailand, and I'll be visiting these 10 places that I'm going to talk to you about today and tomorrow. I'm going to do this in 2 lots actually. I'm going to do one today where I'll cover southern Thailand, and I'll do one tomorrow when maybe the weather's a little bit better. Maybe I can do it from the beach rather than sat under cover. That will be on northern Thailand, including Bangkok and Pattaya. I'm going to go for the southern part, I'm going to go from Hua Hin downwards. Now then, all these 10 places will not suit everyone, and there's more than 10 places. I can't put them all down. You'd have to do your own homework on places you might want to live. But these are the 10 main places where I've found that expats like to live here in Thailand. So I'll go through them with you now. For the southern part, which I'm going to do today, I'm going to take in, well, I'm not going to take in actually. There's Hua Hin, which I've already documented many times, which you can look back on the videos and you can see that you had cost of living and how much for rentals, and videos on Hua Hin that I've done. And the same with Koh Samui. I've been living here now for close to 3 months, and I've been visiting and documenting it before that as well. There's everything you need to know about Koh Samui as well. So there's no need for me to go again about those 2 places. Just look back on the older videos. The third place would be Krabi, which is one of my favourite places in Thailand. I love it there. A little bit quiet now. I was there a few months ago, but it's very quiet because of COVID. Not many tourists. It used to be an international airport at Krabi, but I don't think there's many flights. I think the only international flights now coming in are in Bangkok and Phuket and maybe Chiang Mai. Krabi's very quiet, but still a very beautiful place to retire to. And the other place will be Phuket, which I'll document today. There's other places further down north like Songkhla, Hat Yai, and a little bit further up, Nakhon Si Thammarat. All good places, very good places to live and to visit, but not for me. None of them. I've visited them all and I like them. They're nice and there's some beautiful places to see, but for living there doesn't interest me. There's also even close to here, just across the water there at take the ferry across to Donsak, only half an hour from there, there's two fantastic towns, Sichon, which I've documented before, and Konom also, which I've made a video of. Both of those towns are very good. Something like Thailand was 50 years ago, I suppose, you know, sort of small fishing towns and nothing touristy, no French or Italian restaurants, nothing like that, just for Thai people really, but there are some expats who live there. They like the quiet life, they don't want the tourism life, they don't want to live on Koh Samui or Phuket or Pattaya. So they're the towns I'm doing on here today, but as I say, I've already done two of them, Koh Samui and Hua Hin, just look back on those. So let's start with Krabi. Krabi is probably a newish area for expats, but it's starting to get more popular all the time because of its beautiful weather and beaches and its proximity to places like Phi Phi Island and Samui and Phuket. And it's also closer down if you like to travel and want to go across the Malaysian border. It's a lot closer to Malaysia than say Bangkok or Chiang Mai. So yeah, it's a great little town. Doesn't have a great deal of shopping and supermarkets, but it does have some, especially in Krabi town. But the tourist areas, where the beachy areas, there's not much for shopping or anything like that, but beautiful beaches, secluded beaches. If you go around to Rawai beach, you can take the boat around there. It's not accessible by walking or car. So Krabi is an up and coming place and well worth a look if you think of coming here. That's on the plus side, and to be honest, on the negative side, there's not a lot that I could think bad about Krabi. Probably the only thing is that it's a long way from the rest of Thailand. You know, if you want to just go to Bangkok for a weekend, it's a long way to go, a long way to drive. It's probably a good 10-hour drive to Bangkok. And then if you want to go further in Chiang Mai, you know, you're talking 18, 19, 20-hour drive from here. So, from Krabi, sorry. So, Krabi is a great little town. Phuket is the next one. When I arrived in Thailand in 2017, that was the first place that I decided that I would look at to live, because I'd been there so many times before and I knew it and I liked it. But I'd never lived there, I'd only holidayed. So holidays are completely different to living somewhere. So I spent 6 months in Phuket and I liked it. I decided it wasn't for me in the end, and I headed back to up north and went to Koh Samui for a year or so. But Phuket is a very nice place for retirees, lots of retirees, and they cater for retirees. Lots of good restaurants, bars. Nightlife is good down Patong way. There's girly bars down there. There's girl bars all over the place, but Patong is the main area in Phuket for bars. I lived in Rawai. Same thing. They had bars there for lady bars and restaurants, and you know, the whole of the island is touristy, and as it caters for everyone, all tastes. The good thing about Phuket, it's an island, but unlike Koh Samui, where you have to take a ferry, there's a causeway. You drive onto Phuket. There's no ferry across. You just hop in the car and drive from whichever town you're in Thailand, and drive across the causeway and you're in Phuket. The cost of living there is a little bit higher because it's a bigger town, and I suppose the logistics of getting a lot of things from this Bangkok area down to Phuket, it's a long drive, so everything has to be driven down there, so I suppose that pushes the prices up as well. So I can't say anything really bad about Phuket that I thought, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that. The only thing I didn't like was that it is such a long way from the rest of Thailand. If you want to, as I said, go away for a weekend somewhere, unless you want to go to Krabi or Samui, it's a long way to the rest of Thailand if you want to go Bangkok or Pattaya or Chiang Rai, some of these other towns, which are well worth visiting. So that's my only gripe about it, that it's a little bit far away. And I've documented Hua Hin and I've documented Koh Samui, but I'll just go through the pros and cons of that for you. The pros of, say, living in Hua Hin is that it's 2.5 hours from Bangkok, a 2.5 hour drive, so it's very easy to get to the capital. So if you want to go back to Europe, you know, you can be at the airport in 2.5 hours, whereas if you want to do that from Phuket, it's one flight from Phuket or a long drive. So that's one good thing about Hua Hin. Got lovely beaches, but they're not tropical like Koh Samui or like Krabi. They're more very nice, but not crystal clear beaches. They've got palm trees the same as they have here, but I don't know, just an island atmosphere is completely different to a seaside town. It has many bars, many girl bars, many normal bars, many restaurants, and it caters very well for Farang because there's a lot of Farang live there. A lot of Farang live in Hua Hin, and a lot of Farang come down from Bangkok for the weekend, people who live there, because it's only 2.5 hours. So that's some of the pros of living in Hua Hin, and I think there's not anything I didn't like about. I lived there for 2 years and there was nothing that I didn't like about living there. I don't think there's anything. We've got big shopping centres, nice beaches, plenty of places to go. So that's the pros and cons of Hua Hin. As for Koh Samui, same thing. Beautiful place to live. You couldn't pick a better place to live. For me, this is probably one of the best places in the world to live. The only problem is that it is an island, and that's good in some ways, but it's bad in other ways, because it means that if you want to go somewhere, you've got to get a ferry, and that takes you an hour and a half to get across from the ferry port in Koh Samui to Donsak. And then if you want to go somewhere else, even from then that's another little problem, is that it's a long drive from Donsak to heading north to Hua Hin. It's 7 hours, 10 hours to Bangkok, 12.5 hours to Pattaya, and maybe 20 hours to Chiang Mai. So it's a long way from everywhere. Being an island also, it's a little bit more expensive to live here than some places in Thailand because of the logistics of getting, same as Phuket, getting things onto the island, and also because you can't go anywhere else, you know, you pay the price. But having said that, everything's so cheap here now, not food so much, but accommodation, and a lot of bars are selling, even though they're not supposed to be open, they're keeping the prices low because they're trying to entice customers from other bars. So it's still very cheap to live here, especially compared to most Western countries. And apart from that, I don't think there's anything that I don't like about living in Koh Samui. Unless we talk about the rain today, and the rain we've had for 2 or 3 weeks, but yeah. So that's it for southern Thailand, Hua Hin, Koh Samui, Krabi and Phuket. There's also Shumphon, which is quite nice, but not for me again. I'm more or less going through with the things that I like and the places I like. I like Shumphon, and I could quite easily go there for weekends. In fact, I often did when I lived in Hua Hin. But it's not a town that I would consider living in permanently or as a retiree. So those are the towns. Tomorrow I'll do another video, so please check back tomorrow and see my next video, which will be about the towns further north, which would be Bangkok, Pattaya, Khon Kaen, Udon Thani, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai. If you haven't already done so, please push the subscribe button and push the thumbs up button as well. And if you know of anyone who you might know would like to view my YouTube channel on Thailand, please push the link and pass on that link to your friend or family member, whoever you want to send it to. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying watching my channel as much as I'm enjoying making it. I'm learning, it's not easy. I'm an old fogey and a lot of these things are new to me, and I'm trying to master film editing and camera work and microphones and all sorts of things that I never had to contend with before in my day job as a chef. So as I say, thanks a lot for watching. Take care, and come back and have a look at my video tomorrow on the northern towns of Thailand that I consider great places to retire. Till then, see you later. Take care. Bye. Thinking of retiring to Thailand or spending any length of time here, take a look at my book, The Retiring Thailand Handbook. It's full of ideas and tips to help you make the transition to Thailand as seamless as possible.